Hi guys, and welcome back to the next episode of the PSO episode 2 lore playthrough. In today's video we're going to hopefully try and wrap up the VR temple and try and get to the bottom of what this hunter exam is actually preparing us for. So, thanks for coming, Hunter Taker. This next test is going to be rather different from the others. Please go and get the details from my assistant. I expect good things from you. I shall explain the details of the next examination. The test takes place in VR Temple Alpha and VR Temple Beta. It's a test of your tactical prowess. The test begins when all participants arrive on the VR field. A countdown will then begin. Make it to the inner core of the temple within the time limit. Are you able to carry out your directives in a heavily timed situation? That's what this test hopes to determine. You mustn't dilly-dally. A time limit like this should hopefully be no problem for you. Be careful and do your best. So a little bit different this time, so again we're getting sent to temple, again it's going to be alpha and beta, but this time it seems like there's some kind of time limit. So obviously with this one we might not have as much time to stop and examine the lore because we are up against a timer. But I think honestly we've probably covered the majority of the VR temple anyway. Again, there is very little lore to cover at this stage in the game just because we are just doing a VR simulation. We get little bits of hints as to why we're doing it along the way, but a lot of it is just a case of getting through the simulation. So reach the goal point within the time limit. Time bonus will be given for the following feats. So plus 30 seconds for defeating enemies and get all items plus 60 seconds. And it starts with 20 minutes. Having said that, I am immediately going to talk to here. Yeah, so we are actually getting nothing from there now, so it is just a case of finding our way through. Again, just a reminder, we are doing this on normal just so we can blow through it quickly. I think when it said defeat enemies for 30 seconds, I think it means you have to defeat a room. Yeah, so each room we get 30 seconds, so I don't think the time limit's going to be a problem. In Ultimate it would obviously be a bit more difficult. Again, this will not be difficult in the slightest because, you know, we are really, really high level. And the only reason I'm doing this is just to blow through it. Yeah, so we've got another 30 seconds there, so I don't see this being particularly difficult, but obviously in a high difficulty it will be a bit more challenging. So they said that the reason that they're doing this is because they want to test our tactical prowess. I don't really see how that tests our tactical prowess because all we're doing is to show them that we can kill fast. I guess the idea is that maybe, you know, with Temple being a bit of a maze, maybe there's a chance that you might get lost in Temple while they're doing it. I guess maybe that's what they're going for. I'm not entirely sure what it means by get all items. I mean, honestly, this is probably the first time I've done this quest since, probably since SEGA Blue Burst. You do tend to find that the government quests are not things you typically run that often. There's a couple of hunts that are useful for, but typically you don't do them that often. I suppose if you're in a high difficulty, maybe you would make decisions on the way, such as Do you want to kill all the enemies, or do you want to skip through rooms where you can? Because there are a few rooms for sure that you could probably skip enemies in, like this one. You can see both the doors are actually open. Although the door to the left only opened when we killed everything, so maybe you have to kill stuff. Again, I know this is meant to be a lore playthrough, but at this stage there is really not much we can actually cover. Yeah, so interesting. We got the 30 seconds then, and there was a bit of a delay before it actually let us continue. Now this so far seems to be kind of a normal temple map from what I can say. The spawns are maybe slightly different, but the layout seems very similar. Ah, that's the items, okay. So there's these little hidden orbs around the map that you can get for extra time. I'm quite glad I'm not doing this in rare enemy week. Probably just jinx that now. Check this just in case there's anything from LE. No, so it's just more or less so you can cancel out the simulation. So yeah, temple can be really overwhelming when you first come here just because of how labyrinthine it is, particularly in this part. We'll just check here in case there's another time limit thing. There is. There's also a trap there, but worth taking. It does seem to be just a regular temple run for the most part, though the map does seem pretty much identical to usual. I know there is a few variants of the map you can get when you run it, but this is definitely one of them. Oops, someone got an S parts drop, very nice. Every time I see it pop up with EU Lumerace, I always start thinking, have I found a banner? I am playing normal temple, so I'd be very surprised if I got a banner in normal temple. I think we're going the right way. Yeah, if you've never done temple before, that switch is a troll. It does nothing. Which you should be able to tell by looking at it, really, because it's only powering those fences there, which there is no benefit to. I suppose it opens up the room slightly, but there's really not much point in it. And the enemies trigger when you go near the switch anywhere. I was wondering how I got poisoned there, but I didn't see the lily around the corner. So timer stopped, transmitting test record. Enemies eradicated, area secure. Time over confirmed. Hello? Take it, this is the lab. Ellie speaking. So we finally get to speak to Ellie after all this time. I Confirmed your exam results, Taker. You were excellent. That was really something to watch. These tests are just no challenge for you, huh? Or maybe they are. I'm just teasing you. At any rate, we're going to disconnect the VR link again. So please head on back to the teleporter. Good job again. The thing I really don't like about that test is it basically makes you do a full temple run and then you don't fight the boss at the end. I'm pretty sure you do have to fight the boss in the next one. But we'll report our test anyway. Undertaker, I've checked your exam results, but... well, there are no problems with your results. With your record, you might be able to meet the lab's requests, but we'd like to see just a little bit more of your potential. Please go and register for the next test. Take what time you need in order to get ready. I'll be waiting. It does beg the question at this point, how many more tests do we have to do until they're happy with us? I guess they're wanting to make sure that the hunter they hire is fit for purpose. They don't just want to send someone out who might not end up being able to complete the job. So they're being overcautious, I guess, but it is a little bit frustrating when you are going through the same test, especially when you have just done a full temple run and then you don't get to fight the boss at the end. Here's how your test went. Your score is so-so. Thanks for that. Just okay. There are a lot of hunters out there to choose from. I frankly can't say how impressed the chief will be with you. Test is over. The next test will be the final one conducted in the temple, so I guess this is where we fight the boss. Good luck. Yeah, this guy is just... it feels like every time he talks to you, he just wants to insult you a bit. So that's that test done. So we can now qualify for the final temple test. Thank you for coming, Hunter Taker. Did you expect there to be so many tests? I mean, yes, because I've done this before, but also we have just discussed this, that it is kind of annoying that you make me do the same tests over and over again. I'm assuming that's meant to be, I know I've said this before, but to re-emphasise, the missions that we're recruiting for are highly dangerous and top secret. So to determine whether you can handle our missions or not, we've got to make sure that you can pass our tests. Not only that, but we really need to find the best. A considerable number of hunters have already failed or given up. Do you have what it takes to pass the next test? Let's hope so. Let me give you the details on this test. Are you going to do it without insulting me this time? This is an examination of your overall ability. The test itself is simple. Get to the final area of the VR temple. Following your operator, make it to the final area as quickly as possible. Don't give up, go and do your best. Oh, I guess you got a bit of a pep talk from me for a change. So this, as you can probably guess, is essentially just going to be a run-through temple. Which, yes, is what we've just done. So if you were doing like a free run of temple, this is more or less what you would do. Thankfully, no time limit to worry about this time. So as we get into VR Temple Beta, what I'd say so far is I've skipped through a lot of footage of this quest just because there isn't really any operator interaction in this at all. So this is essentially just a temple run without any input from the operator. I believe near the end you might be able to get some interaction with Ellie again, but it is very light at the moment. They are just more focusing on you completing these tests. Okay, so after making our way through all of Temple Alpha and Temple Beta, again, I didn't record much of this quest just because it was essentially very similar to the last one, just without the time limit. Once we get to the end of this one though, we actually get a boss portal. So when we enter the boss portal, we actually get a new boss. So this, obviously a lot of similarities to Durrell initially, the fact that we're on the raft, the fact that we're in, not a sewer system this time, but we are in, you know, a water-based area. So this is Barba, and as you can see, if I just let him do his thing for a bit, you can see that fundamentally he is very, very similar to Durrell. Now, because this is a VR simulation, This means that this was potentially created specifically for this simulation. And the assumption is that perhaps that this is based on Durolle's data from the hunters who were investigating the caves, maybe? So you can see that every now and again he summons these smaller rays called pig rays and ull rays. Now this guy, he does differ enough from Durolle to be at least interesting. You know, he does quite a lot of new stuff actually. So obviously, as I mentioned, he does summon these little rays, which are actually really annoying in Ultimate because the yellow ones actually paralyze you. But what you'll notice is there is a bit of a difference with him. So instead of jumping on the raft and staying there, what he'll do is just stay here a bit longer than normal. But what he'll probably do is he'll actually jump back on again. So apart from that, he is very, very similar. So as we take out Barba, again, even his death animation is very, very similar to Durolle's. But he is probably the first new enemy you'll see in episode 2. The only exception is there is a rare enemy in Temple called Love Rappy, which is new to episode 2 as well. Obviously that relies on you seeing a rare enemy. So as we get to the end of all this, you can see we actually have a final message thing from Ellie. So VR field final temple area cleared. Good job, Taker. All VR tests for the temple area have been cleared. Please return to the teleporter. We're about to disconnect the link. So unlike Durolle, it does actually take you somewhere where you can actually disembark the raft. So I've always liked this zone. Again, this is all VR simulation, so it's hard to sort of tie this to any lore at this point, but what I've always found quite strange is that when you get to this end, there is like some semblance of some more modern technology as well. So you can see this area that the raft actually connects to. I mean, the raft itself is obviously modern technology as well. But you can see there's like these piping structures and the area behind it. So like these bits here, these all look quite modern. There's a lot of lighting down the river system as well. So it's sort of tying together elements of the old sort of ruined temple aesthetic with this more modern as well. There is also something I've never noticed before, which is, I don't know if it's just a visual glitch or if it's meant to be like that, but there is actually some floating areas in the background as well. I don't think that has any specific significance. I think it's just a interesting design choice. So we'll go back to the lab and we'll hand this in to Natasha. See if she's proud of us yet. Splendid work, Undertaker. Your scores are exactly what I was hoping for. I'm changing your VR fields and putting you on a new run of tests. I like how so you get through all that and she's like, yep, you did brilliant, so I'm going to test you more. Also, I prepared a little something for your defeat of the Barba. Get it from my assistant. I hope it helps you out on future tests. I'm expecting more greater things from you. So you defeated the Barba. Good job. This concludes the last of the tests for the VR temple. The testing will continue on a different VR field. Congratulations on passing the first qualifier round. However, don't assume that future tests will go as well as these. This is a gift from the Chief for defeating the Barba. Please take it. So we get a Palash plus 10. Now this differs per difficulty, so if you do this in Ultimate, you do get different gear. You can get special weapons with it from this as well. I'll be honest, I'm probably not going to use a Palash plus 10. So again, there's no sign of Ellie here yet. Well, that brings us finally to the end of the VR temple tests. So we'll end this one there for now. In the next episode, we'll start the next area, which is the VR spaceship. And we'll, again, just continue through these VR tests. There should be maybe a couple more episodes of these VR tests. And then after that, we'll actually get into the meat of episode 2 and actually try and find out what's actually going on. It's very weird with episode 2 does things, really. like, almost half the episode is just these VR tests, but once you actually get to the main crux of the story of episode 2, it picks up drastically, so try and stick with it if you can. So I'll end this one there. As usual, if you've enjoyed watching, please consider liking, subscribing, joining as a member. We do a couple of videos a week, and we also stream once on a Sunday as well. As this video goes live, the Sunday that this goes live, which will be the 21st of July, I'm actually doing a stream where I take on challenges from chat in PSO, and any donations, super chats and memberships on that stream will also be all donated to Cancer Research UK. So that'll be at about 6:30 PM British Standard Time, which is GMT +1. So feel free to join us over there, and it'll just be on YouTube. So yeah, hope to see you there, and hope you've enjoyed the video, and see you guys in the next one.